Hi guys, Carrie here. So I am going to show you how to make a resin geode. This is the kit. It's a resin kit to make geode. If you're not familiar, if you haven't ordered this, I sell them on Etsy and also Shopify, my Facebook, The Art of the Pour. It comes with everything you need to make a geode. Even an extra crystal if you'd like to have it more of a 3D kind of thing. Which I mean, like by this, comes with this if you feel like adding extra bling. And so it comes with the resin and the hardener. It's 1-to-1, so I have little measuring cups here that you're going to use to measure the resin. So there is enough resin in this kit for 2 layers. So we're going to measure out the first layer. We're going to put it in our big cups and stir it for 3 minutes. The resin and the hardener equal, 2 ounces each. We'll go through that in the video. Here's little cups for our colors when we mix them in. All of your colors will either be in a squeeze bottle like this or mica powders, which are like this. And remember, you're having 2 layers, so only use half of each color. We got gloves in here, stir sticks. We have our crystals. These are quartz for the middle. That's my preference to have like quartz in the middle. But if you just want to have I don't know, however you want to make it, you got 2 stones, 2 different kinds of stones. A towel just in case your hands get dirty. I have provided 2 pairs of gloves. There is a puppy pad here, which might sound a little strange, but it is perfect for catching all of our resin drippings. And then there is a pre-primed board. It's just primed white, and on the back it's primed white, and then there is electrical tape. My preference is electrical tape over any kind of other tape. This is to catch the resin dripping, so it's going to drip down our sides, and if I hadn't put this tape around, they would have clung to the sides there, and you'd have to sand them down. So if you are just following me from home and you're just kind of following along this video, you know, this tape, I have used green tape. It doesn't come off very easy. Packing tape doesn't come off very easy, and I have found, just maybe because the electrical tape is stretchy or a little bit thicker, I don't know, but it comes off easy for me. And then we have thumbtacks, which are going to go into the corner to hold this all up. So this is somebody's box, so I'm not going to be using this exact box, but I'll be using the exact same stuff. So sorry. There's the puppy pad. There's the wooden canvas. My corners here, and I got my tacks over here. So we just want them. Now with the tacks, you want them all the way in. If you have to, get out a little hammer and hammer them down, because this is a wood canvas board, so sometimes I have trouble. But you want them all the way down because we want our board to be level. If it's off level, it's going to spill off on one side. See, a little trouble on this one here. Probably doesn't help that I don't feel good and I'm a little shaky. I don't know why. There. Just a double check. Alright, so we got our tacks on. We got this over here. You want to be doing this someplace that is level, and that you don't have to move this once you got it down. Now you want to start on a clean, dry, level surface. And so the first thing we need to do, once we're unpacked and ready to go, is to measure out the resin. So the resin that's provided in the kit, in the geode kit, is enough for 2 layers. So you do have to measure out 2 ounces of the resin, which will be about half the container, but with resin you have to be exact, so you have to measure it out for the first layer. and my stir sticks. So, okay, and then you need your 2 ounces of the hardener. Now this must stir, or you must stir this for 3 minutes, sorry. And you have to kind of stir it slowly because you don't want a lot of air bubbles. Now, normally to get rid of air bubbles, you need a torch. I didn't include that in this kit, but a hairdryer, a heat torch, a barbecue lighter, if you don't happen to have one, will work. So just the one thing that you should get, or I'm sure you have a hairdryer or something similar, hairdryer or a barbecue lighter, hopefully. So just slowly for 3 minutes. I won't make you watch me stir this whole thing. So I will be back in a second. Okay, so I got it all stirred up. It's supposed to be stirred until clear, but you see I probably stirred too fast and I got a lot of air bubbles in here. So it's not exactly clear, but if you time yourself, I usually stir for about 1 song length. I listen to music when I'm doing this usually, and I stir for about 1 song. These air bubbles, again, they can be torched out or hair dried out or whatever. If you're using a hairdryer though, you'll want to keep good distance from the resin so that you don't move it around too much. So now I've got my colors. For this particular geode, I'm going to do pink, and they're kind of a wine color, white, and then gold. So I have the colors already in there. Now for the kit, I just use half of what's in the baggie. I kind of generally just, I mean, you could use a little bit less than what's in the baggie. I probably put a little bit more than you needed, but it's better to be safe than sorry, right? So now we want to divide this into the 4 cups. So with the gold and the dark red, I'm going to have a little bit less in the cups because they're more of a contrast color, whereas the white and the pink will be more of the color I'm using. Now we want to leave a little bit of resin in this cup, and I'll show you why in a second. So there's a little bit left in there. I'm pouring some of the resin that I put in this wine color in here because I didn't mix it yet, so it's there. So as you can see, if you can see the difference, these ones both have more color or more resin, and these two have less resin. Okay, so we're just going to stir around the color. Now these colors are a little bit translucent, so that's why I had to make sure the board was primed for you. And this is why we need 2 layers. So one, we're developing the depth of the geode with 2 layers, because in the second layer, you'll be able to see the first layer a little bit through the colors, especially through the white and the pink. You'll see the darker colors. So it gives it good depth. Wow, this is a lot darker than I had anticipated, so I will be using that sparingly. And then the gold. Now, with the gold, I love this gold that I use. It's a Pinata brand. This is the only gold I use now because it makes such beautiful gold lines. Just gonna be shaken up, and then I'll put some drops in there. Love this color. All right, so now we're gonna get started. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is to put a little base down for the rocks. Now, I have been generally making the geodes come from the middle and then separate out. This time I'm going to off-center it just a little bit. I'm going to be using this pink crystal. It's an optional. It's not real crystal. It's one I made of resin, but I mean they look pretty good. You can't tell up close, definitely. So that's an option. Whether you want to use it or not, that's totally up to you. So I'm going to offset it, so about here maybe, and I'm taking some of this extra resin that I left over. It's just clear, and I'm going to give the stones a base. So that's there. I'm going to use a light layer, or oh, I got a hair stuck in there. Good thing I saw that. Okay, so this is kind of like mirror kind of glass, crushed glass. So I'm just going to have a little bit here. And I have some rose quartz here. Sorry about my dog. Yeah, okay, so that's that for now. And then we're going to build up this pink layer when we do our second coat, so that this one looks a little bit more indent there. All right, so now I'm going to drizzle a little bit of resin on top of what I got here. There we go. All right, now I'm going to start. What should I start with? Maybe this good contrast here. So I'm just using this here, and I'm not very neat at it, am I? This stick. I'm using this stick, but with these cups here, and this you could be called a practice. Zeus, leave her alone. Sorry. Hopefully I get that edited out. Okay, so I got these cups for the specific purpose that you can point them. Okay, so with this tip, push down a little bit so that we can drizzle. Now, do some pink. Same thing. Some gold. Now you see we can do pretty thin layers, and it's going to spread out, so the layers will thin out even more. But you can get pretty thin layers just by controlling your flow and squeezing your tip, your end of your tip there. Okay, some gold. So this is the first layer, right? So you don't have to be totally worried about, you know, how it looks on the surface. This is mostly getting some resin down and building up your geode. You want to make sure you get your sides with some resin on it. And don't be afraid to put your hands in it. Like, you don't want to mess these up, but as you see here, I'm just spreading out the pink a bit. All right, so after pink, it's the gold. Now you can choose to keep your layers all kind of thin, or you can do like a thicker layer like I'm doing here. So I'm gonna do all this with my hands before I... Now it doesn't matter the color that you have of the resin on the side, you just want some resin on the side. Oops. I like having this done in 2 layers because you get a first little practice layer. That's what I call it, practice layer. This way you can get a feel for what the resin does, how much you like, what kind of lines do you like. You like the really thin lines that you can use with your, you know, you can pick up your stick and say if you wanted a line right here, but you didn't want it very thick, you just wanted a string. And for some reason it's not stringing. Oh, there, I did too much. Oh well. See, like that. Just takes a little practice. You know, this is probably the first layer is probably the best way to practice that technique. Just so you get a hand for it if that's what you want your final product to look like. And you can see how the 4 ounces, I just have enough with the 4 ounces. There's none extra to play with. So, you know, if you find something that you don't really like it on the first layer, you're just gonna have to kind of leave it, let it dry. It does change as it dries too. Things kind of settle into each other. But if you have something you totally hate, just leave it because you're going to do another layer anyway. If this happens in the second layer, it might be a little bit easier to pull off something that you hate. I think I have just a tad more than you need for resin in the little cups. So this has to sit, and you see I'm just pulling down resin here just for my sides. And it's not going to leave much of a color on the sides. It's just easier for it to flow over if there's sides here. I don't want to do this too much because I don't want to have weird lines here. Okay, just making sure. Now you can even, if you want, you could drag your stick across. Like, say if you wanted to make that kind of look, you could do that. You can, you can try, especially on the first layer, just try anything that you want to try, because we're going to have a second layer. So if there's something that you don't like on the first layer, 1, it's going to be covered up. 2, if you do like it, you know what you like and you know what you can do on the second layer. So, just fool around with it. I do have to torch it. And remember, if you're going to use a hairdryer on it, you can, a heat gun also, just have it up high so that it doesn't blow the resin around. of course, now my torch is, there we go. Okay, and that's it. Now we're not going to touch it for at least 4 hours, up until 24 hours. So we can let it sit up to 24 hours, but not longer than 24 hours. If you do leave it longer than 24 hours, you're going to have to sand it a little bit. If you can't touch it less than 4 hours from now. Otherwise, it'll make a mess. It won't be good. So 4 or 5 hours, I'll be back here to go over the second layer. Hi guys, so this is part 2 to this, and I hated this when this dries. I hate this dark red. I didn't like the gold, and I thought the gold kind of clashed with the silver that I had in here. So I changed up the colors, so if you order this kit, you'll get the new improved colors, which is the silver. I also put some sparkle in it. You'll be able to see it better on the board. So this kit will come with some sparkle. I'll put in a little baggie. I got this pink, a little bit darker pink, and the same light pink and the same white that I had already used. And I have my clear resin here just to put on the extra rocks. And again, I'm just going up this side here, and I decided to mix in some of the pink rocks with this reflective crushed glass here, just to kind of give it a more reflective look to it, just to pop it a bit, so to say. All right, so my extra bling layer, and just a little bit over top. Now I've tried to make these colors not translucent at all. I hope I've accomplished that. Otherwise, the gold will come through and that red will come through, and I don't want that. I've got a lot more pink and white than I do of silver and of the pink, because those are accent colors, while the white and the pink are the main colors. So I'm going to start this with the white. Now, because this has this crystal, I got to make sure I go in there and squish it all in. Now, I think I'll try a little bit of silver here. So you can control how big your line is by squeezing this. I think I said that probably in the beginning. And then if you want really thin lines, use your stick. And you can get pretty thin lines, as you can see here, with just squeezing your tip. The only thing I don't like about that is it's a little bit thicker when you first start. I think I like the look of this much better. Tell me in your comments what you think too. This looks a lot better. Or if you kind of really liked those weird colors. I think they don't go together. But, you know, everybody has different taste. geodes don't take very long to make. If you want extra bling in your geode, you could add, you know, rocks even somewhere else. I have done that on occasion. Pink. It's kind of fitting that this dark pink here covers up that dark red, so it won't look so out of place if you see a peak of red somewhere. And don't forget about your corn or your edges. For me, I have to make sure I get them because I don't want any of that gold or yucky red to come through. Don't you think that looks so much better? I do. So I'm going to torch it. I do have a little bit of silver left. I don't know if I should just do a thin line here. Okay, I think that's definitely enough. Uh-oh. I see some of the red peeking through. There, okay. So I'm gonna heat it, and then I'm gonna tilt it just a little bit to make sure that my colors are, you know, my edges are nice and covered. Okay. Well, it's a good thing that there's 2 coats on here, and I got to change this up a bit. Yeah, so when you order, do color specific. I'll add some variations. I probably use more than 2 pairs of gloves, so I'm going to get the kits with a little bit more gloves. See, when I go back and forth, the lines get even thinner. There we go. So I think that's it. I think I'll do one more torch. You know, this is the one thing about these. I stir it too quickly, and I do have a lot of bubbles, and you can kind of see them. From here, I don't know if you can see them from the camera, but they'll continue to come up. So you got to be a little bit vigilant with your heat gun or dryer, hair dryer, or torch if you happen to have one. I will include a torch for, it's going to be extra $15. That's what they cost me. I once tried to get the cheap ones from Wish, and I got 3 of them for $5, and I thought, oh, this would be awesome. I could put these in the kit without extra cost, and then 1 out of the 3 worked. So yeah, I won't do that again. But anyway, just one more torch. So watch the edges. Make sure you're, like you're not getting any little gaps in the resin. And another thing to watch for is it drying level. If you notice that you have runoff on one spot, like in one corner, or in the front or the back, just make sure that you turn it around, because that would mean you're not level, and you want to turn it around just to get the colors to go the other way to kind of level it back out. Okay, I really like the silver here. I don't know if you can see it in this little corner. It's one little part of the silver I really like. It kind of got buried in there, and it's just peeking through, and I like that. I'm not going to do that with this silver. And anyway, so that's it. Now, if I had started with this color in the first place, and I had nice silver and pink to come up, I would take this clear resin and do a couple little like ribbons of the clear. It would show the colors underneath in a a nice fashion, and it kind of gives it a little bit more, almost like a 3D look. So that's one option you have, but I can't do this because of the base I started with. So that's it. If you've ordered my kit, thank you. I'm just a small business trying to get off the ground. So if you've bought my kit, thank you very much. I hope this tutorial was useful. If you have still questions or comments before you want to start, just send me a message on Facebook. I'll check that. I check Facebook messages more than I check the YouTube. So send me a message over my page, and I will answer any questions I can and help you as much as I can. Even if we need to do a video chat or something, if you're nervous about doing resin for the first time, I'm more than happy to do that. So, and if you're just following along, you can find my page at the Art of the Pour, so the P-O-U-R pour, not poor, but though I am poor, but this art makes me poor. Anyway, so just ignore that. So you can find me there. If you are making resin or acrylic poured paint, please come join my art group. You can find it on the Art of the Pour. It's called the go under groups and you find the art corner. So that's where fellow artists and beginners, we share our works, and if we need some advice, we'll ask on there. So check that out if you're an artist and you want to join a chat group. So anyway, I look forward to talking to you if you have any questions. Thank you for watching.